They say heavy is the head that wears the crown. Welcome to Under the Crown Podcast. This is Chris.
This is Carlton.
Man, I love me some us.
All the time.
But it's certain things, it's come to my attention. I see things that is like, you know what, let's address some the elephant in the room sometimes. Sometimes, man, as a people, we can kind of act a damn fool sometimes.
I concur. Most definitely we do. And we don't practice one thing, that's accountability.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I failed to that a couple of times. I feel, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think as a people too, sometimes we are afraid to say things because of the backlash. But it's like certain things have to be said. But we live in a culture now where, it's the power of the thumb and social media that people can get on things and just cancel you or belittle you or just kind of, what I mean? It's just it's a different day and age we live in, and as a people, we talk about systems and the white man and all that shit, and that is true. There's a lot of things that are put in place for us to fail, but some of our wounds can be self-inflicted, and I think that's something that we should talk about, especially right now tonight on this podcast.
Most definitely, I agree with you, brother, wholeheartedly on that. And even with the aspect of the whole thing about the strike going on
in Chicago, right?
Yeah, in Chicago, yeah, that's something that's definitely not right, I believe. One major thing is I heard a lot of parents who complain of this, they need to be in school, they messing my day up and this, but they saying stuff like they're not doing nothing with their full day. So it's like, how you want to be worried about that? And you're not taking the time to figure out the reasons why these teachers are complaining and the stuff that they're requiring to help further your child's education.
Right. So the teacher strike in Chicago that's going on right now. It's been going. I think I don't know if it's a record yet, but it's getting there. Where the kids have almost been out of school for 2 weeks.
Roughly.
And I worked in education, and I understand some of the things they're fighting for. It's bigger than money, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's they talking about just pretty much making the school system in the city of Chicago equitable than in any other place in the country.
Yeah.
The student demographic here is mostly black and brown students, and it's just certain things that they just don't have access to, like social workers, like nurses.
Things
they need that. But my thing is, yes, I wish that our kids can be back in school. But I don't like to hear parents complain about this thing when they're doing this for your kids. But some of the parents, here's my issue, some of the parents that complain, where are you when that teacher is calling you about your child's behavior?
Exactly.
Where are you when it's report card pickup and your child's report card is still sitting in their office? But
they'll flip out.
Yeah, if they'll flip out if somebody was messing with their baby or they took their iPhone, they'll come up there with their bonnet
and raise hell.
And it's not right. And not to put some people down, but I'm just going by what I see, what I saw, and then what happens in our schools today. We can't be responsible for other people to take reins in raising your child,
because it does take a village, and you are a part of the village. It starts at home. I definitely agree that it starts at home. And to piggyback off what you said, we have to help these teachers, because yes, they're going every day to try to help further your child's education and also mentor them. And some of these parents, some of these teachers are like a second parent to these children.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too in the classroom. Like my sister's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
She has 40 students in the classroom.
That's too much.
That's crazy. That's like people on top of people. So therefore, but here's the thing. So with these 40 students, you probably have, 3 or 4 that hardly ever comes to school.
Yeah.
Then when they do come to school, they have behavior problems. So now you got to put out these fires. And when it gets to the students that really want to learn, it's like you shortchange them.
Yeah.
Yet that teacher is evaluated from those students that she's still responsible for making sure that those students produce.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair.
No, it isn't.
So one thing we have to do to clean up our own dirty laundry is take ownership in our children's education
and communities.
And man, look, I worked in schools where I had to wear a shirt and tie. I mean, that was the quote unquote dress code. But I did that as well because it's like these black boys are looking at me.
And you
These
see
black
that.
girls are looking at me.
Yes, sir.
So I want them to see something that they don't usually see. And that's what it's all about. Image is everything.
Oh.
But yet don't come and cuss me out, you know, when I'm trying to call you and you talking about I'm picking on your baby, but yet and still you don't even, you know, come to the parent teacher conference. You want to come up there and nitpick and everything, and that ain't cool.
It's not cool at all. And I recall we had a discussion one time. You was telling me you got frustrated about an incident at, I forgot what school it was at. I won't go to that far, but
Right.
you were saying how they tried to make it feel like a prison.
Yeah, yeah. I think I talked about that in one of our other episodes. It was like, you know, here we are in our schools. We're trying to educate young black boys and girls that look just like us to try to show them something different. But yet and still, man, the culture and climate around that school, man, it was like a prison, and they wanted me to pretty much conform to their identity, and I just couldn't do it.
And a lot of these children, because I had a discussion with a teacher who was actually going downtown to strike, and she was agreeing with me when we both spoke at the same time and said a lot of these, I won't say babies, but these young adults or these kids are coming from places that are probably broken, and they coming for heat, for food,
Yeah.
you know, and the thing about it is that it hurts her, she was telling me, because it's bigger than the money, like you said already.
Mm-hmm. But I want to make sure that we stick to the point, because it's like, okay, we talking about cleaning up our dirty laundry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what aspect are we talking about? Because is it the city, the system, or whatever the case may be? I want to talk about us in general.
Oh, in general? Yeah, okay, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like those, going back to what you were saying though, yeah, there are students that come from very impoverished backgrounds.
And she was saying that's what she was speaking about, the system thing, like they do need the help as far as the nurses and things of that nature, and the guidance counselors, and also the counselors just in general to help.
Right.
You know, because she said like they play a big pivotal part in these children's lives.
Absolutely. So going back to those parents though that are complaining, yes, we know you want your children in school, but yeah, understand what's going on. Don't do it because it's like, damn, he out of my face and I want to lay up. Because I actually had a parent tell me that one time. I suspended her son for 5 days. I couldn't take it. That's like suspending a student was my last resort.
Okay.
But
he had heavier problems for him?
Man, I had major problems.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To the point where it was just like, look, he gotta be gone for a couple of days. But she came to me like, man, can you reduce this? Because I work at night. I'm trying to lay up with my man. Those are her exact words. And she looked me in my eyes. She was dead serious. And I just said, have a good day.
People,
and you know, I was all these names and everything, but it's all good.
And see, that's what we're speaking about. Cleaning our own. Like, how the hell you go sit up and tell this brother who's trying to help your son and show him by example?
Right.
You know, there are consequences of what's going on. And you can't do this in school and everything. It's my last resort, so he must have did something detrimental, really, that made you say, I got to suspend you.
Yeah.
But for her to tell you that, that's some bullshit, man.
But it is what it is, and that's just what we deal with. And but one thing that I've dealt with too, man, you know, like I said, that parent felt the need to attack me verbally. That's something that we as a people do to each other, period.
Tear down.
We tear each other down.
Instead of building, we always look out to destroy.
Right. And it's okay to disagree, but we do this shit in front of we do it in front of the world.
Yeah.
Like I think I've never heard of rock and roll beef.
Oh, hell no.
Paul McCartney gonna beat the shit out of Mick Jagger when they pull up at the club. Like you've never heard that. So it's like what are we doing? It's like, man, come on, man. You got people that's making millions of dollars, and not just on the celebrity side. I'm talking about regular old citizens that, you know, social media, you gotta love it and you gotta hate it.
Yeah, gift and curse.
And it's certain things about it that I just despise, because it's like, why tear somebody down like that for the whole world to see? And also, why make yourself look stupid?
Pretty much, an idiot. This always been my pet peeve with my people. I understand you think different, I think different, but I don't look at you lesser.
Right.
And I think we're so closed-minded at times, and I do blame a lot of that, our way of thinking. Once we change our way of thinking, that's a start with that, and acknowledge the problem. And try to figure out, okay, how can we go forward instead of tearing each other down and just, you know what, fuck your idea.
But here's the thing, what's the problem? I think it's so much pride and self-hate in our community that it's like, damn. But that's something too that you learn as you get older.
Yeah.
You understand? So I get it, but then I don't get it. Because as we look at our generations, like, there's certain things when you see certain behaviors, it's like, come on, y'all, we saw this movie before.
Exactly.
We know how this ends.
Change the narrative.
Let's change the narrative and keep it moving. But, you know, like I said, I think the emergence of social media just kind of just overhyped things, and we live in this cancel culture, man, where we could just, I block that bitch. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, really? But she's still alive.
She ain't going nowhere.
Ain't nobody going nowhere, man. And I just don't get it, man.
We consume so much negative energy that we avoid the important things in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing wrong with me walking past you, like say I didn't know you, and say, good morning, peace, brother, how you feeling? There's nothing wrong with that. We so quick to say, fuck he looking at, or what the fuck she talking about?
I think that's what goes from where you from.
Yeah, but we know better now.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I know. Like when you live in a city like Chicago or some of these bigger cities, you know, it's you on defense mode. Fuck you looking at.
But at the same time, if this guy walked back without our creed, oh hey, good morning.
Good morning, yeah.
I don't understand that. I would never put a brother or sister down in front of no nationality, or try to put them down, period, anyway. I don't believe in that because I could be in the same boat I'm thinking you might be in at the same time, or if not the next day.
Well, speaking on that, like you said, we can see somebody from another culture. Is that would you agree with that's something that we do, that as a people we kind of like, we think that white ice is cold?
Man, bullshit ain't nothing but chewed up grass. I don't think that.
Whatever the fuck that means.
What?
What you think?
Bullshit ain't nothing but chewed up grass.
Okay,
that's
all right.
Food narrative, man, my apostle to say. But I think that's what that we were taught.
Right.
And no disrespect to nobody, we were taught white as right. Like, no, come on now. We all.
I mean, people are people, but at the same time, uplift your own.
Exactly. And see, this is the thing about it. Majority of times, if I uplift my brother or my sister, I might catch backlash from that. But why? Because when I say pride in who I am and who my people are, there's nothing wrong with that. We got to start with that. And I say it again, stop tearing each other down off everything. Like, prime example, Kanye's way of thinking, okay, that's what he do. I'm not mad at that brother for feeling how he feel. He felt this way, this is how he think. I'm not going to tear him down.
Yeah. That's called being human. And sometimes, you know, people say, well, he shouldn't say nothing. It's like, well, you shouldn't cater your thinking to what Kanye is saying or thinking. Like, you know, like, I don't, you know, when there's a tragedy, like Dave Chappelle said, it was September 11th, and it was like, you know, we got Ja Rule on the line. Ja, tell us your feelings. Like, I don't want to hear from fucking Ja Rule right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is a tragedy. Like, why are we basing our lives on what somebody just, that stand up and piss just like me do? That doesn't make sense to me. So it's like, okay, but that's human. That's about growth and evolution. And we can't expect people to be the same. Like, things happened in his life where it changed his thinking. Okay, like, that's something that happens, I want to say, in the church.
You think?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I think, well, from my experience.
Okay.
You know, Christianity, look, Jesus, whatever you believe in, that's great. But I feel that Christianity is one of those religions where it's like, if you're not with us, you against. It's like it's a finger pointing thing, and that's why I think a lot of people, especially in the black church, really don't even like to get involved because it's like, man, if I come here, what, you know, you gonna judge me
in a heartbeat.
So let me, you know, and then it's like if I do certain things, I get backlash, and it's like, man, I'm human, and I may not have went the same route as you. But as long as I get to the destination, man.
That's all that matters. Everybody's path everybody's destination is totally different.
And speaking of the black church, I think one thing we do as a people, man, instead of worshiping the Lord, we worship the person on that pulpit.
You know how many times I've asked somebody, just small talk. So what church do you attend? They'll say, "Oh, I go to Pastor blah 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 church."
Okay.
He is not the religion. What church do you
What's
go
the name
to?
of the church?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, are you in a clan or are you in a cult? What is it?
That's what some of this feels like. You know what I'm saying? And to each his own, man. But I do know there are some churches, man, that are doing great things in the community that are doing what I feel that the role of the church should be.
Now, speaking of that, what do you believe the role of a church should be?
Man, the church should be the heartbeat of the community. The church should be pretty much helping people, just like Jesus did.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna worship someone on Sundays, let's follow in his example. And so if you got a Rolls Royce in front of your church, I mean, Jesus had Birkenstocks. Like, what we on?
Damn, you didn't know. I mean, you get one like that. It's
What
real.
we on? So is this what it's about? And
the image.
yeah, it's an image thing, and God want me to have these shiny things. Really?
God want you to have
and then you get mad when people don't have such a certain amount to give, and you checking check stubs.
Now, brother, I'm glad we're having this discussion because I don't go to church. I have faith. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave it right there. But when I see examples of people, who the hell need an ATM in the church?
Man.
Who the hell? Oh, I seen one church, they blasted on the screen, "We accept cash out."
Yeah, man, the church is business. It's a business.
That ain't right.
Yeah.
I know they gotta make a living for everything, you want lights on and everything, but really it's becoming more monetary than more praise.
Absolutely. But you gotta contribute to that building fund, even though that toilet down in the basement been stopped up. You know what I'm saying?
Sister Patterson was making pound cake.
Absolutely. So it's a business, but I don't want to just put down the church completely. I'm just going by certain things that I see
Yeah, something
in
that you observe. That's
exactly in my community that is like, it just don't sit right with me.
Now let me ask you this. We tear each other down when it comes to choosing who you go vote for. Why do you think that happens so much in our community?
Why?
Like, okay, for the vast majority, people say, I'm a Democrat, and they can't even tell you why. But if you say, I'm a Republican, they look at you like, you the devil or something. Why do you think that's so prevalent in our community?
I mean, because
Your personal opinion.
we have a follower mentality. It's like we supposed to be doing, this is what we supposed to be doing. If you're not doing it, then you're not us. And that's just what it is. But we do live in a democracy.
Yeah.
So why not? But I think just as a people, when you look at, voting in this country since we were allowed to vote, I mean, we go by, as a whole, what benefit us. Because at one point, blacks were Republicans.
Once before.
Abraham Lincoln freed us. All right, we're going to ride with dude. And then,
But that was a business deal, though.
yeah, but that's another deal. But I'm saying, and then when Kennedy came along, it's like, oh, okay, Martin Luther King was a Republican.
Yeah.
So, what I'm saying? It's like, man, that's just what it is. But the way you vote, it shouldn't matter to me. You have because really you vote on your personal views.
Exactly.
And how it is in your household.
And your
beliefs. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, me personally, I don't want to get into my feeling, but at the same time, it's like that's just what it is. But that's the attack mode we get into.
And like I said before,
Like,
that's our way of thinking.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Man, school me on something that I don't know.
Exactly. I recall watching an article about people tearing down Isaiah Washington, the actor, and he was saying why he voted for, or why his party is Republican, and he was basing off what he felt he did for him and his family.
Yeah.
And people were attacking him via social media and everything, but he was like, F you all, I don't care what you say, this is what I'm doing for myself. And there's nothing wrong for being a self-individual and thinking the way you think. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the whole crab in the barrel bring you down mentality that we have to eradicate.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if we keep fighting each other, what's going to happen is, and one thing that I see, we allow other cultures to exploit us.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I remember, man, like probably at the turn of this century, man, like in the early 2000s, that's when the reality shows started becoming real prevalent. And I ain't gonna lie, man, you know, Flavor of Love, it's like, okay, these motherfuckers kissing Flavor in the mouth. Okay, they must be getting a big check.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was, you know, I saw the love of Ray J, and then it was just like, okay, things just started to change and how content was being put out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, look, we grew up in the 90s with Luke and BET Uncut and all that. So yeah, we saw women dressed in a certain way, and the lyrics and songs were very raunchy. Mm-hmm. You know, like some people may call it rape culture. You know what I'm saying? Because you recite some of the lyrics. Now it's like, damn, you can't even get away with that. Even like comedians, they'll say the F word and all that stuff, man. So it was a time, but those things, like I said, BET Uncut, it was on BET, like Bob Johnson owned it at the time. But it was also shows like Teen Summit and Know Your Heritage, Video Soul. And then, you know, after you, I mean, of course, he's a businessman, and that's what he did. He sold that company, and things just started to change as far as the content goes, man.
And me personally, I think that was an attack or a plan, because once you get something that we have or we control, and I'm not saying everybody goes for the money, but when you can say, all right, here, and you go for it, now we have control of it, we're going to control what your vision should be.
Absolutely.
And we got to think bigger than that.
Yeah. But when you dangling that check in front of somebody, it's like, man, because you remember, like, that's when you start seeing hip-hop artists in Sprite commercials and wearing Reeboks and all that. So it's like something's, corporate America knows the value that we have.
We're the tastemakers.
We don't know the value that we have.
The big word V. Like I said, remember, we know the price of this, but we don't know the value of nothing.
Right. And so, because we're really a rich people, we just don't know how to utilize our wealth.
Yes, sir.
And so it's time to stop letting people come in and exploit us and use us. And we have to just stop just attacking each other. And I want to make this clear too. I don't want to sound like we're lecturing.
No, we're just having a casual conversation, how we feel.
It's like, man, it's just certain things that I see that it's like, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. And I'm sure it rubs y'all the wrong way too.
Yeah, and this is what we all about Under the Crown Podcast. We having discussions that y'all having, that we all need to have together. And I think that it's very important that we do communicate and build each other up. And I'm gonna keep using that word build because it's too much destruction. Mm-hmm. And we keep doing this, what we gonna be? We already the minority, period. You know, I'm just trying to I can't change everybody, but if we have a discussion with 20 people, maybe 5 might catch on. Positivity is what we definitely need.
Yeah.
And also, you know, look at each other in the mirror and say, okay, this is who I am. And ain't nobody perfect. Ain't no big eyes, little U's. But also, you have to be conscious of what you're doing, what you're putting out into the universe, because it will come back on you. So, you know, ain't nothing wrong with being polite to, you know, a fellow person, you know, a brother or sister. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just speaking about us because we don't show each other enough self-love and love to each other.
Right.
That's the main thing.
And to me, it seems like there's a lack of organization. We have, there can be one central idea, right? And everyone can have like a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of us getting in the room and say, okay, let's put your idea with my idea and his idea with her idea, let's put it together and come up with an agenda. It's like you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And therefore we can't get anything done. We see that in movements in like Black Lives Matter. We see that in, what is it called, ADOS?
Yeah,
you know, like, okay, yes, we understand that, okay, our people are being gunned down by law enforcement at a rapid rate. Okay.
But what will we do?
What are we going to do? How are we going to organize and combat this? It's all these different groups. And that's the thing. It's like we're the easiest, it seems like we're the easiest group of people to infiltrate because we're so distracted that everyone trying to be the leader. And going back to the church, you know, I'm gonna get back to my point, but just that's what I see too, especially in this city, where it's like it feels like everyone wants to lead the charge, and if it's not their thing, if their face and their name of their church is not on the plugger, it's like, okay, I ain't doing it. So imagine if all these churches get together, man. All these churches, and that's what it is. That's why you see these politicians the Sunday before election day.
They go to the black
Come to
church.
your church and they clapping their hands and stomping their feet and with
Eat
no rhythm
sweet
at all.
potatoes, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Eat the yams
And they go on the Breakfast Club, and it's like, I like hot sauce. You know, it's all good, and then after it's all said and done, they got your vote, and you don't hear from them no more.
You know, going back to when 44, then President Barack Obama was in office, I heard a lot of people complain, we got Obama, no, here, Obama here. He ain't doing nothing for us. Where were you at when the problems or issues that you want us to speak about and voice your opinion about and give an idea about, where were you at for that?
I think it's just about understanding the voting process. It's like the action don't start on that Tuesday. The action starts on that Wednesday when that person that's elected. Now you say, hey, I gave you my vote.
Exactly.
You work for me. I gotta hold you accountable.
Exactly.
And so, but that's what happens. You had certain groups in this country that formed a coalition. When you come together and say this is what we want, it's going to happen. But when everybody just, you know, that's one thing about us too that we do is I just hope and pray. You can't hope and pray shit. Like you can't wait for everything to fall in your lap. You gotta go take.
Yes.
But it has to be a plan. And that's the thing, if there's no plan and there's no action, then it's like, okay, and then once we put the thing in action, what's next?
Yes, exactly.
What's next? We love to just kind of just talk about everything on the surface and not a way to organize.
And when that brother organized shutting down the shops, the nail shops that is, because of the disrespect for the black
talk about that, because there's other people that listen to this. So, brother, talk what shops?
No, you know, the nail shops.
Right. What, here in Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago, but it also happened in Brooklyn too before.
Okay.
So a brother, he organized to shut down the shop, and unfortunately he busted the windows and everything, but instead of rallying behind him for the disrespect that was given out to the young sister and the mother at the shop, people were right back at the shop supporting that.
Yeah, because it's like, shit, this is where I get my nails done. This is by my house.
But they don't care about the blatant disrespect though.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about that. So like, that's the whole thing about, fuck what you talking about. No, this is what I'm gonna spend my money on, which is fine, but like, you don't care about nobody putting hands on you and disrespecting you and they taking your money in your community?
Because it's an individualistic society. I gotta look, well, they do my feeling just right. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And that's something that we do as a people as well. It's like, they ain't talking to me. So it's like, you know, but that doesn't make it right.
No.
And as you know, and that's something that as men we do too. Like, yeah, we used to do bullshit. But then, you know, we grow up and say, man, I got a daughter, I got a mama, I got a sister. Like, you've been had some of those things.
Exactly.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. You dig? So it's like, I mean, but it comes with maturity. But going back to business though, man, supporting our own.
It ain't hard at all.
You know, it's something you gotta do. But with that support, it goes both ways.
You have to have good business ethic too.
Absolutely. Like, okay, I want to be able to come to your business and spend my money and get great service with no attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But as the consumer, when I don't receive those things, I would like to talk to the manager or the business owner and just have a conversation. As a customer, this is but that's me understanding the power of the black dollar and
Exactly.
what this means, as opposed to, see, they don't do this shit up north. You know what I'm saying?
You hear that all the time.
You hear it all the
You talking
time.
about up north Chicago.
Up north Chicago, right? You know what I'm saying? Where it's, you know, predominantly white people, or it's a different income bracket.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Put it like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
The economical structure is a little bit stronger in certain areas.
yeah, but I mean, wherever you live, it's like that. You know, that goes back to people thinking that white ice is cold, but it's just about how we go about things. That just needs to be tweaked a little bit.
And even with you and I conducting business, we talk about it as men. We understand what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And we might not always agree about everything, but we always come back to the common ground of like, okay, this is what we're doing for this product or this entity.
Right.
We make the best decision for the business.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend you for that because we're being grown men about it. And it's not no, like I said, no big eyes and little U's. This is a business and we understand how it should operate.
Right.
And we have our bumps and everything, but like I said, not bumps for like us beefing, stuff like that, but just learning everything. And that's why communication is very strong. And I'm glad that we are having discussions all the time about just various things about building and not destroying.
Right. So going back to this topic though, what you think about parenting? As far as, you know, is it certain things that we should change as a people when it comes to parenting our children?
Yeah. I definitely believe in being a parent first.
But what does that entail?
Now, being a parent first opposed to being your child's friend is showing them the right or wrong way and instilling in them the proper values. Also, letting them know, hey, you messed up. Because like I said, or like rather you said, when the little boy messed up and the mother wanted to try to berate you, like that's bad parenting.
Yeah.
And you showing that's a cycle that has to be broken.
Yeah, she's pretty much creating a fuck boy. Pretty much.
To say the least.
Yeah.
To say the least.
And but I like how you said too, we need to don't be our child's friend. I'm your parent first and foremost.
Exactly.
And that's something that definitely goes on. Definitely goes on. But how you raise your children is how you raise your children. Just understand that we can't always look in the moment. And nobody's perfect.
Hell no.
Nobody's perfect. But hey, understand that you're trying to build them up for the future. And if you want to get them out your head eventually and get them to the point of independence, then friendship shit gotta be out the window. Really parent. They got friends.
You the parent. And the ramifications that come with not showing them or giving them the proper tools will eventually hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't see your kid out here and thinking, oh, it's their world. No. You have to tell them you can't sugarcoat shit. That's how I raise my kids. I tell them the truth. And I sit down and I talk with them. And also I believe it's important to, when you're talking to your children, listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to them because that small problem, you always want to berate them and get on their ass about this. Oh, they're afraid to talk to you. Then they'll start confiding in the wrong energy that you don't need. Because then they'll fall by the wayside. You're losing.
Our tempers can go from 0 to 100 for some of the smallest shit. But I get it too, man. It's like, as a parent, you're dealing with enough shit, but don't nothing come before your child and their thinking. And if a child comes to you to talk about something, that's the best compliment in the world.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's a form of trust and values. You know what I mean? And that's dope. But fathers of these sons, mothers of these sons, tell these boys to pull their damn pants up.
It's not cool.
Like I remember now when we were, I hate to be that dude back in our day.
It
is what it is. Like our pants sagged a little bit, but that's when they was like 4 sizes too big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But these niggas sagging in leggings. Like, whoa,
what a belt on.
You know what I'm saying? But it'd be like the sag, like you back then, like your sag was like so you could see the rim of my drawers. Like you can see I got on some Tommy, some Calvin Klein polo drawers, but they sag be under they ass. Like you be cuffed. Like nigga, you finna twerk. You feel me? Like, come on, fam. Like, don't do that.
And that really is prison culture. It really is.
Yeah, but the culture, but it just don't look good, man.
No, it's not good at all. It's not good at all. And you're giving out that perception. Yeah, I'm cool. This is what it is. That's not what it is.
Right.
It's far from it.
Right. So.
And also, these young boys, fathers, tell your young brothers and your sons, stand up straight. Posture. You're growing into being a man. Have not a swag, but have, pride in being who you are. Just definitely tell them that. You have to. Because like I said, when you was like that whole thing about the sagging thing, that became cool. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. It's the last thing I want my son to be doing, walking around the street with his ass showing.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
But that, you know, man, it's times where we've done things because the crowd was doing it. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna have his pants up when he leave, but he gonna pull them bitches down when he go. But that's why you gotta instill in them, like, man, that's the thing, you gotta talk to them and not at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes back to that parenting thing. Like, yeah, do as I say, but at the same time, I want to explain to you why.
That's the key word. Giving an explanation to your child or that young brother or sister who you might be chopping it up with.
Yeah.
Explaining to them the full spectrum of this is why I'm talking to you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Not just saying, well, hey, do what I, no, because a lot of these young brothers who are out here, they don't understand that. When you just, hey, do what I, no, that's not flying with them.
Yeah. You know what? I was looking at Martin the other day, and I was looking at Pam and Gina, and I was thinking about, like, damn. Like, I remember we used to look at those shows and be like, those were the heartthrobs.
Yeah.
The Jasmine guys, the Nia Longs, and you know what I'm saying? And they were just natural beauties. What the hell happened to our women?
I don't know.
Some of our women.
Some of our women, right.
That are brainwashed.
Yeah.
That goes back to that exploitation where we thinking that certain things like should look a certain way. But it's like it. But at the end of the day, man, ladies, you all are beautiful. Like, there's nothing wrong if you want some enhancements. You know, if you want a little extra hair, you know, that's fine. But I'm concerned where we're feeling like we have to maintain an image as opposed to trying to make ourselves feel better.
You can't buy character. And when you said the whole group thing, I understand that, but it's our being parents and being, you know, men of certain values and everything, be yourself. You have to teach your kids that, or just, I mean, that's what I personally believe. Be yourself at all times. Because can nobody do you or outdo yourself? Like, can nobody be you?
Right.
Only you can be yourself. But as far as the women, like you said, some of them, yeah, like that whole image thing, like being perfect, that's not where it's at. Definitely not where it's at. Yeah. And who am I to say you can't buy this because you want to enhance certain things? And do you, man? And there's nothing wrong with it at all. But take pride in being who you are. Like, I would do myself the same way. You know, if you told me, hey, brother, hey, that's not a good look, I won't say, what you mean? I won't say that.
You sure you won't say that?
No, because you coming from a point, I know you're not having any negative comment behind it, because you view me as a man, I view you as a man, and I respect you, you respect me. So if you tell me something, I know you're telling me from a genuine place in your heart and how you really feel. And that's why I can always chop it up with you and a couple other people who I know. That's why I think we need to get back to that.
Right, but I want to push back a little bit, because Carlton, you are a man that I know. People, this man collected Crown Royal bags for about a year.
Okay.
And got a suit made.
Yeah,
hey, but here's the thing. That's something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what's the problem? But if somebody said, what the fuck? You got on a Crown Royal suit, how would you have approached that?
This is what I wanted to do. See, that's different, because that's something I want to do for like fashion. That's why when you said ladies to some, if you want to enhance, that's fine. That's something I chose to do. Now,
right.
If you see me slowly killing myself, like when I spoke about drink, you said no more, and I commended you for that because you said no, I can't allow that.
Right.
I'll be breaking myself down.
Right.
So yeah, as far as my fashion choice, yeah, I did that short set. I killed it. I did that, you know what I mean? And that's what I want to do, but it wasn't going to be detrimental to me as a man bringing me down. Now, image-wise, people say it was ugly, that's fine. I might not always have what you like, you know what I mean? Which is fine. Everybody be their own self.
Right.
But if you catch me doing some shit that's going to kill me or something, you better say something, because if not, you don't care about me.
So I guess when we put everything in perspective, it's just all about be yourself, but everyone else should be fine with you being yourself.
That's all.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I shouldn't have a problem with you because you do certain things, but we can't complain about shit as a whole
No.
when we do dumb shit as individuals or collectively.
And if we called out about it collectively on some bullshit that we all do, we take it. But when we call each other out about it, it's the problem. We gotta reverse that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the major thing. Because collectively as a whole, if we fuck up, yeah, we should be able to say, man, you fucked up. Hey man, get on your job, fix that.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody else do it, they picking on me. This is racism and this and this. No, you ignore with that and fix our garden first.
Yeah, because racism, okay, it exists.
Yeah.
You know, now what? We can't just keep like saying like using that shit as an excuse.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm
You can't.
saying? But I'd rather deal with racist than racism. You know what I'm saying? You know, I worked at a place where I was the only black guy there. And, you know, everyone by the water cooler, good morning, John. Hi, Jim. How's it going? How was your weekend? Great. But when I come, motherfuckers doing the Randy Jackson hand, yo, 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 it's like, motherfucker, I don't talk like that.
No.
But it is what it is. Now, racism is when, you know what I'm saying, everybody getting a bonus and then it's like, oh, here's something for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, or just certain shit that goes on in politics and all that. When it's something to bring me down, my people down. That's what I don't like. But in order for us to combat that, we gotta come together. But also understand that too, we can't just think, well, it ain't happening to me.
But when it does happen to you, you want to cry.
Yeah, and get on social media and talk about shit. But cry me a river.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? So fuck it. We gonna end it like that. Let's get our shit together, y'all. Clean up our own dirty laundry. Under the Crown Podcast, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.